Happy Captain America Day, everybody. Today is February 14th, also known as Valentine's Day, when I could to give two craps about that. Aside from my daughters, which I did get them some a little something special for the day. It's Captain America Brave New World release day. Actually, it came out last night, of course, in pre-screenings. And it did pretty well. I guess it made like over $12 million. I'm hearing. So not, like again, they always judge these things by like the preview, like how the preview goes is how the weekend's gonna go. So here's the thing. It's not getting the greatest reviews, it's getting mixed reviews. A lot of people saying that it's boring and stuff like that. Um, Listen, I'm gonna give my thoughts here in a second. I just wanted to say that I just want to give some thoughts on the MCU as a whole right now. Okay. So before I get started, though, of course, I got to properly uh, get started as the only way I know how. So we're going to tack up with Mr. Schwarzenegger. We're going to do some fighting with my man, Mr. Scott Atkins, as he blows some shit up. And then, of course, the handshake felt around the world. And today we're going to do a little dancing because it's Captain America Brave New World Day. So let's get down in boogie. That's right. Okay, so 10 years culminated in Endgame. So you had Avengers Infinity War, then the next year Endgame. Those two movies as a whole was epic on a grand scale. At least I think so. I mean, a lot of people think so. I mean, but it's like the MCU peaked. So it's like Endgame is like, it's like, it's one of my favorite comic book movies, actually. It's like, it's in my top three, actually. My top three are Endgame, Zack Snyder's Justice League. Yes, it is. I'll fight you on it. And Captain America Winter Soldier, which actually kind of relates to this because we're talking about Captain America Brave New World. And I'm wearing my Sam Wilson Captain America shirt that I got. And actually, this is my Captain America chair. That's just a happy accident. I've had this chair for a very, very long time. It made the trip down south with me when I moved to here in Panama City Beach, Florida. So Endgame happened, and it was just like, wow! It was just like the biggest MCU movie ever. It was over 3 hours long. The ending itself I can't even explain it. Every time I watch it to this day, I get goosebumps, especially when you see Cap, Chris Evans' Cap walking towards Thanos and his whole legion of army. They're all, and he's basically going to take him on by himself. He's like, okay, I got a broken shield and I'm pretty much on my own. But you know what? I'm gonna do what I can because I'm Captain America. I could do this all day. And then all of a sudden you hear Sam, Anthony Mackie's voice in his comm, and it's garbled at first. He's like, Cap, can you hear me? Then he's like on your left, and then you see the time portal. And it's just, and then after that, it's just like it's a comic book orgasm for fanboys everywhere. Then Spider-Man Far From Home happened, and that was still pretty epic. I mean, you had all three Spider-Mans, you had Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, along with Tom Holland, and that was a pretty big deal. It was kind of like Endgame-esque in the sense that it had a pretty big epic scope, and it was probably like one of the best Spider-Man movies, at least I think so. And then after that, it was like downhill. Then we got the Eternals, which I still have not seen to this day. I went to see the movie last night, and there's references to it. I'm like, oh, that must be from the Eternals because I have no freaking clue. But I have no intentions of watching that movie to this very day. I did see the stinger scene at the end. Where they, you hear Mahershala Ali's voice is played, which who the hell knows if that's going to happen or not. But other than that, I saw the Marvels and I liked it. It was fun, and like I said, Brie Larson is hot in it. Say what you will about her attitude and her views and everything. She was wearing that white shirt that helped. But other than that, it's just like holy cow, what a mess. And then you had the Disney Plus shows, and I think that saturated the market for the MCU. They kind of went too big, and like they're releasing shows, and it was kind of like what they did with Star Wars. It was like they were flooding the market with it, and everybody was just like, whoa, put the brakes on. I did like the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It had its issues. Yes, it had pacing issues. It went a little dark. It was a lot of conspiracy, and it was like it wasn't what you expected. But then at the end, they kind of made up for it when Sam finally put on the Captain America outfit, and the wings came out and everything, and it was kind of like a F yeah moment. So Phase 5 has been a mess. let's not sugarcoat it. It's a train wreck of epic proportions, a lot to be desired. I mean, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, I enjoyed that one. I mean, that was Marvel's martial arts film. I actually consider Captain America Winter Soldier Marvel's martial arts film because there's so much martial arts happening in that movie. So now we're going to be going on to phase 6. I think phase 6 is, I think we need to get excited because it looks like a lot, you got the Fantastic Four first steps coming out. Thunderbolts looks awesome. Like I said, I showed the trailer again during Captain America Brave New World, and I saw it in IMAX. Boom. What an experience. Always go see your movies in IMAX. Big screen, big sound. Go big or go home. But Thunderbolts looks like a lot of fun. You got Florence Pugh, you got David Harbour. He just looks like he's like, I'm going all in. And then of course you got Sebastian Stan as Bucky, doing his thing and everything. It just looks like this the dysfunctional Avengers. And so that looks like a lot of fun. So I can't wait for that to come out. And then you got, of course, the Fantastic Four, which comes out after that. So you got Thunderbolts coming next with the asterisks. We're finally going to find out what the asterisk means. And then you're going to have Fantastic Four. Then, of course, you have Secret War or Doomsday, Avengers Doomsday, and then Avengers Secret Wars. And a lot of exciting stuff. There's Chris Evans coming back. What's it going to be? Now he's saying he's denying it, but we've all been through that rodeo before, people denying because they have to. And then they're like, oh, yeah, I was lying because Marvel and Disney made me sign this piece of paper that said if I said anything that I could get put into jail. So there you go. So just my brief thoughts on where we're at right now. I still watch them. I still enjoy them to a point. Like I said, I still haven't seen the Eternals. I have no idea if I'm ever going to watch that movie. I mean, I just look at it and that's just, and then I think after I'm done watching it, I'm going to be like, yeah. So and then like I might want to do this to my TV, who knows? But and I've only heard really, and again, I don't listen to other people's opinions or thoughts or anything. I mean, some of my closest friends I do, but as a whole, I'm like, I view it and I determine it. So here's my thoughts on Captain America: Brave New World. Is it an epic movie? No. It's not. If you're going in thinking Endgame or you're going to think like something, even like the Winter Soldier, it doesn't come close to the Winter Soldier. Did I hate it? No. Did I love it? No. I liked it a lot. That's how I'm going to go with this. Okay. So we got Anthony Mackie. He's back as Sam Wilson. I love his character of Sam Wilson as Captain America because we all know he has not taken the serum like Steve Rogers did. Well, Steve Rogers, was the guinea pig in that experiment, and he took it. It's not like, because he wanted something better. But Sam doesn't want to go that route. He wants to be, it's bigger than him, he thinks and stuff like that. So he has not. So he's basically just doing what Steve did with really good weaponry. Like he's got the suit that pretty much is indestructible, and then he's got all these gadgets and stuff. He's like a flying James Bond with all the gadgets. He's got the 2 flying birds, and it's like and the wings and everything. He's got the helmet that manifests itself on his head. So he's basically like Hawkeye, if you think about it, because Hawkeye, Jeremy Renner's Hawkeye, he's got no superpowers. He's just really good at shooting arrows. He's got dead on aim, and that's his superpower. But he's a human. If he he could die at any minute. He's not Thor. So I like his aspect or his dynamic as Sam Wilson because it's a different route to go for Captain America. This Captain America has not taken the serum. He's a normal guy who's really athletic, has fighting skills, is trained, and has some really good technology to back him up. Then, of course, we have Joaquin Torres, who's back. Of course, Joaquin Torres is back. Danny Ramirez. Danny Ramirez as Joaquin Torres is back. He, of course, he made his debut in the Falcon and Winter Soldier. He's the new Falcon, and I like their chemistry. Anthony Mackie and Danny Ramirez's chemistry. I think they're gelling. I think some people have complained that it's not the same as Sam and Bucky. But I disagree. I think it could get there. It just, they haven't had a lot of screen time yet, So like Mackie and Stan have had more screen time together to hone their, chemistry and everything. I think it'll get there with the more screen time that these two share. So that right there is a good thing. All right, so I'm liking that. And of course, you got Harrison Ford. He took over for the late great William Hurt. We all know sadly passed away a few years ago. So he is now Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross. He is now President Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross. And we know he's got some skeletons in his closet. You know, he's done some bad things, but he's trying to atone for it. So this Ross is trying to, obviously, you know, he tried to disband the Avengers and put them all in jail back in Civil War and stuff like, oops. But now he's trying to reform the Avengers. So he brings Sam in and says, hey, I want to restart the Avengers. And Sam's like, you tried to put us all in jail when we were the Avengers. Why do you want us, you know, hello, you know, but it's like, so that's an interesting dynamic. So he knows, but under his control, he's like, I want to reform the Avengers, but you have to listen to me. And of course, Sam is like, well, what if we disagree? And you all see it in the trailers and everything. And he's kind of like, well, I guess we'll just reach that when we reach that. And so obviously, you know, it's going to happen sooner or later. And then there's, you know, the supporting cast. Let me go down the line. I got my notes here. So again, we got Shara Haas as Ruth Bat-Seraph. She's Ross's security, you know, kind of like Secret Service, but we find out she's a widow. She's part of the Black Widow program. Of course, Scarlett Johansson's Natasha Romanoff was. Yeah, I miss her. Bring her back, please. Somehow, it's comic books. Come on. I mean, I know she's doing the Jurassic World thing now, but it's like I miss her. When she fell off that cliff, it was devastating. It was devastating. And then, of course, we got the return of Carl Lumbly as Isaiah Bradley. He was, of course, the first Captain America who got totally railroaded and put into jail, and now, you know, he's trying to live his life and stuff like that. So basically, here's what happens. It opens up and we have the introduction to adamantium. Yes, adamantium makes its screen presence in this. Well, not really, but it's the substance that they're fighting over. Like somebody has stolen Japan has had it and it was stolen. Of course, Captain America has to go in and get it. Now here's the thing. Okay, now we got let me get there. Yeah, Giancarlo Esposito is Sidewinder. Now, this is the big thing. Now, Captain America: Brave New World had a lot to do in the press because it went through massive reshoots, and it was to add in Giancarlo's Sidewinder. And of course, we all know a famous WWE wrestler was supposed to be in it, and they totally nixed his scenes in favor of Giancarlo Esposito. But can you blame? I'm thinking that was the best way to go, because even though Sidewinder's not a big character, he's not the main antagonist. He is an antagonist. He's part of the problem. But then it's more or less just like an extended cameo. He's got the big action sequence at the beginning, and then there's another big action sequence between him and Sam in the middle of the movie, and then he gets well, I don't want to spoil anything, but then they kind of have this meeting, you know, Sam and him, and so I'm not going to go into it because I don't want to get too spoilery, just, you know, minor spoilers and stuff like that. But of course, we got Tim Blake Nelson. He's back as the leader, and him and Ross have history, and a lot of people are mad at you know, like it's kind of generic. I was digging it. The way he looks. It leaves a lot to be desired. You're just kind of like, yeah, he just looks like a deformed, you know, kid who looked like he blew up his chemistry sets and it was green. But so like he's the act, you know, but he kind of comes off as like a movie of the week villain type thing. So that was kind of a bummer. I mean, Tim Blake Nelson's such an awesome actor too. But I mean, it's not like he's wasted. I don't want to say like he's wasted, but at the same time, it's like, here's Thanos was such Josh Brolin as Thanos was such a, you know, ooh, you know, it's just like now we're trying to, you know, find it. You know, of course we know Robert Downey Jr. is going to be Dr. Doom, so I'm thinking that's going to kind of rectify the situation. So yeah, so I mean, so it's Brave New World's kind of suffering from, it wants to be bigger than it is, and it's not, but it's still cool. And a lot of people, I remember this when fight scene came out and they showed it on the net. Everybody and their mother was complaining about it, and they said it was slow. And I'm like, which one are you talking about? Because like, I love the action scenes in Captain America: Brave New World. There's a lot of close quarters battle. It's got it's got a lot of martial arts in it, as akin to the Winter Soldier. It's not like, nothing's gonna beat the elevator scene with Steve Rogers when before we get started. Does anybody want to get out? I mean, that's again. Nothing's gonna beat that scene. Even his scene when he's first fighting the Winter Soldier on the street, and the Winter Soldiers come at him. He's got the knife, and he switches the knife in the air, and like, that's just what a great scene that was. So the fight scenes don't reach that level. Okay, but that's not a bad thing. They're still enjoyable. And some people are saying this movie was boring. I was not bored watching this movie. For one thing, it's a breezy 2 hours. It's not like 2.5 hours or 3 hours like most Marvel MCU movies are. It's tight if you think about it. It's like the pacing is there. I wasn't bored. I wasn't looking at my watch or my phone or anything. I was watching it, the slower scenes, the dramatic scenes. And let me tell you, when Anthony Mackie and Harrison Ford cannot do a bad performance. He is Harrison Ford. It's like Jason Statham. He's the same in every movie, and it's awesome. Harrison Ford has an aura around him. He's got the presence, and their scenes together are awesome. They have great chemistry together on screen. Their dynamic together is a big selling point to this movie. So, they're trying to come together. There's history there. There's a lot of bad blood. And again, Harrison Ford was the perfect choice. Unfortunately, like I said, William Hurt passed away, sadly enough. But if you're going to replace him with anybody, Harrison Ford is the way to go. And he nails it. Okay. And it's great. And there's a lot of going on with Ross. And I'm not going to say how he gets turned into the Red Hawk, but that is the big finale of the movie. And a lot of people are saying, "Oh, the Red Hawk's just going to be in for 5 minutes." It's the finale. He's in it, and it's the big finale, and he's there. It's not like he's there for 2 minutes and it's over. It's extended, so get excited. There's a lot going on with the Red Hawk at the end, and that's another good aspect of it that I thoroughly enjoyed. Um, and then of course, like I said, Joaquin Torres, him as the new Falcon, Danny Ramirez, I like him. He's selling it, and I liked Shara as the new Widow. Then they team up and everything, and she looks like she weighs 70 pounds, but yet she's got moves, man. And again, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, the chick that small can't beat up guys like that." You know what? I'm a martial artist. I've done martial arts for years. I've seen women half men's size make them look stupid. So that argument is null and void. Do not come at me with that argument where you're like, "Oh, that can't happen." Bull. Yeah. Okay, because I've seen it happen physically. I've seen women that weighed like a buck 10 make a 200-pound man look like a friggin' idiot. So mad respect to you women out there that are solid fighters, because you bring it. All right. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. And if you want to complain, go ahead, come at me with it, because you're gonna lose that argument. So she's great. Like I said, Giancarlo Esposito, if you're going to take out the WWE, and because even the director said, and again, I draw a blank at the director. I'm so sorry. Julius Ona. Never, like, again, I'm not really familiar with the director. And, he said Giancarlo became available. It was a no-brainer. It's like, yeah. And actually, that was the way to go, because when he's on there, again, I'm going to use the word tight. It's solid. He oozes, just that level of air evil, and it's like he's a bad dude, and like he's rocking that AK-47, man. Let me tell you, he's doing the switching of the mags and everything. It's like he does a great job. And again, his scenes with Anthony Mackie are solid too. So yeah, so like that was a lot of the reshoots and stuff like that. And I really noticed like that there's sometimes you can kind of see the tone kind of unshifting a little bit, and this and that, But for the most part, I was fine with it. Like again, I did not have that argument. I didn't have a problem with that. Whatever they did with the reshoots, besides Giancarlo Esposito, I mean, it's not a big deal. If anything, it probably made the movie better. So like if you're gonna do reshoots, it's gonna make the movie better. That's the way to go. All right, so that's my general consensus on it. All right, so now if I'm going to bring it up here, so I'm going to type it in here first for in a minute. So I just want to say that the MCU has this mystique about it. Okay, it has this mystique about it. Like I said, and a lot of people are saying that it's lost its luster. And it's true. It has. Like I said, phase 5 was an absolute derailment. I mean, there was some good things, but not so much, in terms of like what we got in the first 4 phases. And And what's going to affect this box office? And it had a solid Thursday opening, and they're saying it's going to make like around 190, which is like, back in the day that would have been like, oh my god, it's a massive hit. But nowadays it's like, if you don't make 300 million your opening weekend, it's just, and you don't reach a billion now, it's like the movie's a flop, it's a failure. But I think it's going to do solid business. Word of mouth, it's mixed. Like I said, I've seen people say this movie is great, and it's like, it's, oh my god, it's, and then people are saying this movie sucks. And again, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So I'm here to tell you, I'm on the stance of I liked it a lot. As a Captain America fan, like I said, I got more Captain America shirts than that. And, I got these, from Walmart because they had a big display. And I was like, oh, I got to get it. And I have a sweatshirt too. So here's the thing. I want to just say that don't go in expecting Endgame, but it is definitely better than what we've been getting lately, especially with the Marvels. The singing race of people. Oh my god, what a horror show that was! I'm like, what am I looking at right now? I mean, I really didn't understand that scene at all when it was going on. This was me in the movie theater, and I was just like, you know yeah, I can't explain it to this day. I mean, I just, I don't get it. So, but here's again, I was just gonna say, I love his look. A lot of people are just saying, why can't you just keep him as Falcon? I love the fact that he took up the mantle of Captain America. Obviously, Steve Rogers' arc is done. So, and this is the new Captain America. And this scene's great too when he's saying the wings come out, because this is in the finale actually, and you don't see it, but the Red Hulk is on the other side of him, and that's all I'll say about that. But then again, like I said, we got the dynamic between Harrison Ford and Anthony Mackie. Their scenes together are great. We got Danny Torres I mean, like I said, them two together, that could be something. There's a lot of heartfelt moments too between the two as they're bonding over, Sam training him, to make sure, the big thing is he's like, don't die. He's like, don't die. Copy that. That was kind of cool and everything. And like starting at the beginning, I love this part here where he lands and he just starts making people look stupid with the shield. I mean, it's just, and then of course I love this scene at the end between, him taking on the Red Hulk. It was just another dynamic. What really been really cool was if the Mark Ruffalo's Hulk showed up. So yeah. So let me go over a couple other things too. And again, I'm not gonna get too spoilery here, but this is kind of like an unofficial sequel to the Incredible Hulk. Edward Norton's Incredible Hulk. He only played Bruce Banner one more time. Of course, Liv Taylor was Betty Ross in it. Ross's daughter. There's a connection there. That's all I'm going to say. So that was kind of cool. They kind of, bridged the gap between the Incredible Hulk, which is kind of forgotten about if you think about it, to this one. So that was kind of cool also. I like that dynamic. And I liked Ross's character. There's a lot of layers going on with Harrison Ford playing Thaddeus Ross. A lot of stuff going on, a lot of issues, a lot of negativity, but then trying to atone for his sins, basically, type of thing. So again, good. The fight scenes aren't like the greatest thing you're ever going to see, but they're solid. They're exciting. It's well choreographed. I thought the editing was good. I mean, you're going to get your fast editing, your quick cuts and stuff like that. That's what they do in these big budget movies. And plus, when you're working with a lot of stuntmen and stuff like that, that's what's going to happen. But I, as an avid martial artist and fan of action cinema for what am I, 52 now? So I'll say 45 plus years. I was having fun with the action scenes, and I talked to other people that said the exact same thing. So there you go. So on the whole, like I said, and the Incredible Hulk, bringing that back together and kind of tying up the ends with that was kind of cool. And there's a lot of bittersweetness at the end too. And there is a stinger scene. Let me tell you this. You have to wait for it to the end of the very end of the credits. So normally, when they do the first round of credits, when they're playing the music and everything, then they have a stinger scene, and then sometimes they have another stinger scene at the end credits. There's nothing at that point, but there's one at the end, and then something's teased, and I was just kind of like, that's interesting. Is it a stinger scene that you're going to be like, oh my God? I mean, no, it's not. In terms of stinger scene ratings, it's not the greatest, but it's setting stuff up, and you're just like, okay, let's see where they're going with this type of thing. But it is at the very end. So if I had to give a score to at actionflix.com. It is ActionFlix approved. Again, I'm going to give it a solid 3.5 out of 5 stars. I wanted to give it a 4, but like I said, again, it just, it had the plot wise. Let me go again. Let me say this. Plot wise, it tried to do Winter Soldier things like with the conspiracy thing, because the major plot is Isaiah Bradley, gets invited with Sam to a presidential gala where there's a summit and a big things are happening, but then he tries to assassinate Ross and then a bunch of other people too. So there's a lot of brain washing going on, mind control type of thing going on. So that's the heart of the plot. And of course, Tim Blake Nelson's, the leader is behind it. So that's kind of weak in a sense, because it doesn't have the scope of the plot of the Winter Soldier, because that's where, Hydra and everything was kind of, shaping up and in the weeds and everything. So in terms of plot, that's where I think it suffers the most. So you're not going to get this, oh my God, mind blowing experience plot. It's just, the plot serves its point, establishes its purpose, and then for the characters to do their thing, and for Cap, to spread his wings and fly, if you will. So that is a sour spot in my book. And again, it's more like Endgame aftermath. It's those movies were just so like, holy cow, this is like comic book euphoria. It's like they got to get it back there again. And I think they're bringing back the Russo brothers. Say what you will about the Russo brothers, but they know how to do these movies. They're responsible for the Winter Soldier and the Infinity War, Endgame, so you can't deny that, because after that, like, the director's sets have been like, oh, okay, so that bringing them back for the next round of Avengers films, and I'm excited because the adamantium is announced in this one, so you know what that means. Mutants are coming, so adamantium means Wolverine. So yeah, so again, it was teased a little bit, in Deadpool and Wolverine, but so the X-Men are coming. How they do it, they're being careful with it, I'm pretty sure, and they want to make sure that they don't blow it. So, and in terms of who to put in there and like who to cast and all that good stuff. Hopefully, again, they're saying Hugh Jackman's going to play this role till he's 90. They even teased it in Deadpool and Wolverine with Wade saying that. So let's hope they stick with that. Have him play as long as he can, because I don't want to recast that character. You could, everybody else, it's like, yeah, okay, but it's like Hugh Jackman is Wolverine. He's not the short, stocky Wolverine, but he's my Wolverine, and he can stay as long as he likes. You can stay as long as you like. So yeah, so there you go. So again, I didn't love it. I liked it a lot. Let me say a lot. I didn't love it. I didn't come out of that theater. Like when I went to see the Winter Soldier, I was like, damn, that was a good movie. And plus, I'm such a Captain America fan. I was like, Dad. And Civil War was even good. It wasn't as good as Winter Soldier, but Civil War was, kind of cool with, having them. And again, they took a lot of liberties of the Civil War from the comic book that it came from. And a lot of people had problems with that. But then I was like, it's like, people, this is just, source material. They can do what they want with it. They don't have to do it exactly the same. And there's a lot of comic book purists out there who are just like, it's got to be this way. No, it doesn't. They can do different things with it. It's like the G.I. Joe movies. It's like there's so many different interpretations of G.I. Joe in terms of, Sigma 6, and the cartoon and then the comic books and everything. It's like, there's all kinds of different things you can do with that. And I'll get into that later in Yo Jozo. So there you go. So again, go see it. If you're a Marvel fan, if you're a Captain America fan, you should enjoy it. I don't see why you wouldn't. It's got great performances. Anthony Mackie is solid. Sam Wilson's a great character. I love the fact that he's a human Captain America. He's normal. And then there are some surprise cameos. I'm not going to say they're mind altering cameos, but there's two. Definitely. One was, I was kind of like, aw, but then the other one I was expecting. But then that cameo came in. I was like, can you stick around for the rest of the movie? And of course they didn't. And I was like, damn it. But I get it. It's because that person has to do their own thing in another movie. And that's all I'll say about that. So yeah, I just wanted that person to stick around. I'm like, could you like stayed on set for a couple more days, been in an action sequence, that would have been good. But it didn't happen. So again, probably that's another reason why it affected my score. So again, I'm giving it a solid 3.5 out of 5. That's a good number. There's people out there giving it 2s and 1.5s and even worse than that. I mean, like I said, if you're a comic book purist, a Captain America fan for a long, and I have been too. Now I've gotten out of reading the comic books, and I'm sorry about that. I've just started to get back into them and everything. But it's not like I don't know what I'm talking about when I talk about this stuff. So a lot of people don't like Sam Wilson taking up the mantle of Captain America. I love it. I don't have a problem with it. Like I said, Steve Rogers' day is done. His arc is done in the MCU. Now, if they choose to bring him back for whatever reason, I think it'll taint what happened before, at the end of Endgame and everything. So don't do that. If Chris Evans does come back, do like what they're doing with Robert Downey Jr. And they're saying and again, there's rumors about him playing all these other characters and everything. It's like, just stop, and then of course he's saying, I'm not coming back. And of course we're like, yeah, okay, sure, Chris, wink. Okay. So, but anyways, who knows? But I like Sam Wilson as Captain America. I like the look. And again, I'm going to show this again. Solid look. And, and just, watching this,
Wilson. Thanks for coming in.
Well, thank you for the invite, sir.
a lot that's
I
in
have
the
to
movie
admit,
and
I'm
stuff
still
like
getting
that.
used to the new look.
But
lose the mustache or lose the
Like,
election.
their scenes together are
You
great.
and
Love
I
their
haven't
scenes.
always agreed in the past, but I want to make another run at making Captain America an official military position.
See, he wants
if
to
we
reform the
disagree on how
Avengers.
to
That's what I was
manage
saying
this
at
situation.
the beginning. So, and it's and Giancarlo Esposito. Oh, and there's an aerial scene, dogfight scene where they're taking on missiles and stuff like that. Awesome. I forgot to talk about that scene. So you got like the tight close quarter battle martial arts scenes, but then you got this full on bombastic aerial sequence where Cap gets to fly and Falcon gets to fly. That's cool and everything. So the conspiracy here is
your
kind
own
of
circle's
weak.
been compromised.
It is
You
what it
can't
is.
see that,
But
or
what are you
don't
gonna
want
do
to.
with that?
What if it's a trap?
That's the beginning.
Shifting.
Now Tim Blake Nelson's in here is voicing it. That's not a spoiler by any means. And there's a lot of fighting going on. And like I said, Shara is hot. She's doing her thing.
America,
I like the fact that
you're
she's
not
70
Steve
pounds and she's
Rogers.
kicking people's asses. That's a great part. He uses the shield so many times, beats people up with it, makes them look stupid.
I'm not.
That's an iconic scene right there. That's the scene I'm talking about where he's taking on, things up. So yeah. So again, as a Captain America movie, I'm gonna get it on 4K. And they had posters when I was coming out of the theater. They had like these mini posters. One side was Captain America, it was a cool picture of Sam Wilson as Captain America, but then the other side was Thunderbolts. So I was like, ooh. So I grabbed like 5. I was like, just in case something happens. So and then I'm gonna put up one of Captain America and then one because you had to get more than one because it's like I don't want to have to choose which side to put up. I'm going to put both up. So that was pretty cool because I went to the Grand at Pier Park in Panama City. That's where the IMAX is. A great experience, and the seats are comfy too. Like I took my 9-year-old Bailey, and she was like, these seats are really comfy. I'm like, don't fall asleep. She's like, I won't. And then she hasn't really watched a lot of this stuff, but I must say, like she had fun with it. She asked me questions because there's some stuff is like confusing for a 9-year-old to begin with. But then again, if you haven't seen a lot of this stuff, but she knew what was going on. She got it and she loved it and everything. So there you go, new generation. I'm trying to will them in, baby. So again, Captain America, Brave New World, solid 3.5 out of 5 stars here from ActionFlix.com and the ActionFlix podcast. We are your ultimate destination for your Action Fix, people. So again, a lot of good things coming up. I got a lot of cool interviews coming up. I got one today that I'm waiting on. I'm doing this as I'm waiting to do it. Pretty big interview. Can't wait to talk to that person. And I'll announce it when it happens. Like I said, I don't jinx it. But then when I have it recorded and it's on my laptop, I'm like, there we go. I can announce it. Okay. All right. So let's hope it makes money. I mean, at least decent money, so that way we're going in the right direction. Because it is. I mean, it's a hell of a lot better than what we got before, in this last phase. So, let's put phase 5 to rest. Let's start phase 6. Let's get Fantastic Four. And again, people have complained a little bit about that. And I have a few nitpicks with it too. Like the Thing, get the shirt off of him. He just wears the pants. I don't understand. I'm hoping that in the movie he's like, "Rrr," and he rips it off, and it's like, I am the Thing. It's like, yes, you are. So there you go. All right. So we'll talk more. We got good things coming up here at ACTION-FLIX.com and the Action Fix podcast. Let me just go down the line again. I kind of announced this last time. So again, we're doing the weekly intel. We got Trailer Tactical, which I just did for the accountant too. Don't get me started on that. I'll talk another 15 minutes about it. That was awesome. Go see my video where I just gush all over Ben Affleck and John Berthal and the ending of the trailer. Then, of course, we have Center of the Ring, where I put two movies up against each other and see which one is the winner. Anatomy of Action Design, where I'm going to try to get action stars and filmmakers to come on and talk about their movies. Brent Foster did the first one. I haven't been able to do one since. Comic Zone, where I talk about comic books. Yojo Zone, where I talk about all things G.I. Joe. And, of course, me movie and TV reviews, which I'm doing right now for Captain America, Brave New World, and exclusive interviews. And, of course, thank you, everybody. Over 1,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel. It's a big deal for me. I thank you for all your support. And of course, this August is the 10-year anniversary for ActionFlix.com. So get excited, everybody, because you know what? It's a happening. It's a happening. It's there. It's going. We're doing it, man. Like I said, can I act like more of a goofball? I don't think so. So until next time, everybody, for the next episode of the Action Fix podcast, I do have my Essential Atkins weekly intel coming. That is coming this weekend. I promise. I just work a lot as I've been. So I'm going to try to get that out as soon as possible. Then do a regular weekly intel where I talk about all the other news, because we had a lot of exciting news going on. So that's going to be hopefully at the end of the week or start of next week before all the other news starts coming in. And then, of course, I got some good interviews happening for next week. And it's time to get excited, because this is a good time to be an action fan. And 2025 is shaping up to be a great year like 2024 is. And I'm still going to do my best at 2024. I know it's already going to be March, but you know what? Better late than never. One, I was busy. Two, I had a lot of stuff happen. 3, I wanted to see all the movies that I wanted to see, so that way I could really shape a good top 10 list for you guys to think about. All right, so I have nothing left to do but say go see Captain America Brave New World. If you're a comic book fan, an MCU fan, you should like it. And if not, I don't know what to tell you. It's not a great movie, but it's a good movie. It's a real good movie, and everybody's all in and they do a great job. And you know, I liked how it was more grounded, like Winter Soldier. So like, you know, we had a lot of the, you know, the sci-fi stuff going on and everything, and of course that's going to be happening later on, but this was more grounded. You know, I mean, still you had gamma rays and stuff like that and the Red Hulk and stuff, but it was still more of a grounded action film that we've gotten in the past. All right, so that's all I gotta say. I'm going to shut up now. Go see the movie, support it, support the MCU, so that way, you know, we get more of these movies coming again. I think big things are coming, especially with the Russos coming back, Robert Downey Jr. is coming back, and God knows how else. Adamantium's here, so that means the X-Men are coming. So be nice until it's time not to be nice. Treat others as you would want to be treated, and just be kind, because and now here I'm gonna go on this. It was kind of symbolic to see the White House get trashed in this. It's kind of because like it's kind of happening in real life, just not to the effect that with the Red Hulk smashing it up. But it was I felt it was kind of symbolic, like, hey, this is kind of like a, you know, like a metaphor for what's happening in real life. But I'll shut up about that. All right, on that note, have a good day, everybody, and peace.